All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a pretty radical shift in leadership, one that completely tears down the idea of finish lines, both for ourselves and for our teams. It's all about embracing an infinite mission and really forging the future of how we lead, not just in business, but in life. I want to start with this quote from W. Edwards Deming because honestly, it's a real gut punch of truth. Think about it. The results your company is getting right now, the profits, the employee turnover, the level of innovation, those aren't accidents. They are the direct output of the system that you, as a leader, have created. So the real question is, are you happy with the results your system is getting?
You know, most of us were taught to lead by setting targets. We set quarterly goals, annual objectives, we create finish lines. But what if that whole mindset is actually a trap? What if focusing on that finish line is the very thing holding your team back from building real, sustainable momentum and having those huge breakthrough moments?
So this really comes down to two very different ways of operating. A lot of leaders, and we've all been here, get stuck in what we can call the default cycle. A problem pops up and we immediately attack the symptom. Maybe we throw more people at it or just work late to push through. Then, when it doesn't really work, we get excuses and blame, and the whole thing just repeats itself. The intentional cycle, on the other hand, breaks that loop entirely. It's about pressing in, not just pushing past. You identify the real root issue, create a solid plan, and then you execute. You own the system, you don't just react to it.
Okay, to make this really clear, let's look at a simple story that shows these two philosophies in action. We'll call our two leaders Eric and Emily. Now, they work at the same company, but their leadership styles, they could not be more different. So, Eric, he's a classic manager. He's all about control, hitting the numbers, and managing his resources, which includes his people. And look, he gets results on paper, but it comes at a huge cost. His team has crazy high turnover, and any real innovation has just flatlined. Emily, though, she's what we call a steward leader. She sees her job completely differently. She's there to nurture and multiply resources, not just for the company's bottom line, but for everyone involved. She empowers her team and creates this incredible sense of purpose. And the results of her approach, they're just profound. I mean, you can see it right here in the numbers. Her team is absolutely thriving across the metrics that really matter in the long run. Innovation is through the roof, employee well-being is high, and they're feeling the kind of sustainable growth that lifts the entire company. This just goes to show stewardship isn't some soft, feel-good philosophy. It is a massive strategic advantage with a very real, measurable impact.
Okay, so if the old model of management is broken, what's the actual solution? Well, the answer lies in this powerful concept of steward leadership. And it's not just a theory, it's a practical, actionable path for any leader who wants to build something that truly lasts.
At its very core, steward leadership isn't just about managing for results. It goes way beyond that. It's a holistic approach that's all about creating value for everyone involved. Your employees, your customers, your community, and yes, the bottom line. The goal shifts from building a profitable machine to cultivating a thriving ecosystem. This is the fundamental mindset shift right here. You move away from trying to control people and outcomes, and instead focus on nurturing potential and creating widespread, holistic value. It's the difference between being a manager of assets and a steward of a living, breathing legacy.
So, what does this holistic value actually look like? Well, success isn't just one number, like profit. It's a whole balanced portfolio. A steward leader measures their impact by how fulfilled their team is, the positive impact they have on their community, their commitment to sustainable practices, and their ability to innovate relentlessly. And you know what? Profit becomes the natural, healthy byproduct of this thriving system. So how do you actually put this into practice? It's powered by a set of core principles that you can almost think of as an operating system for leadership. It's a code that guides your actions, especially when the path forward isn't clear. It's called the Waymaker's Code. And this is the heart of the entire philosophy. There are no finish lines. There is only the next mission. The skills that got you to this point, they're meant for something bigger than just hitting the next target. The mission has to be redefined away from a finite goal and towards an infinite game of creating lasting impact. The Waymaker Code gives you the core tenets for this journey. First, live intentionally. That means aligning every single action with your deepest values. Second, be relentless in chasing your ambitions. And third, you have to embody Sisu, which is a really unique form of resilience that helps you turn challenges into new frontiers. This brings us to this incredible concept, sisu. It's a Finnish word, and it means so much more than just persistence or grit. It describes a kind of deep inner fortitude. It's that extraordinary determination that kicks in when you're facing what feels like insurmountable odds. In fact, sisu is what begins right where grit ends. And this all leads us to the most profound shift of all. Because this isn't just about what you do as a leader, it's about who you must be. It requires moving beyond your own ego to become something far more powerful, a conduit. So this brings up a really critical question every leader has to ask themselves. Where does the power on your team really come from? Are you the source, the one driving everything forward yourself? Or are you the conduit, a channel for power, vision, and resources to flow through you to empower others? This quote completely reframes what being a conduit means. It is not passive. It's not about just letting things happen. It's about actively building the structural integrity, your discipline, your character, your resilience, so you're capable of handling an extraordinary amount of power and then channeling it to lift up your entire team. And this is how you build that structural integrity. It starts with radical responsibility. No excuses, no blame. You own the outcomes. It requires you to sacrifice your own comfort for the mission and the team. It demands that you choose the discomfort of clarity over the false comfort of avoiding hard truths. And ultimately, it's all rooted in leading to serve others, not to build your own status. So as we start to wrap this up, let's bring it all together. This isn't just some strategy for the next quarter. This is a framework for a lifelong mission. It's about playing an infinite game where the real goal isn't to win, but to just keep playing, keep building, and keep serving. Because in the end, it's not really about the momentary achievements or the targets you hit. It's about the echo you leave behind. It's the impact that continues to resonate in the lives of your team, in your community, and in the legacy that you build. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important question. When you look past the balance sheets and the quarterly reports, what is the living legacy that you are forging right now with every single decision you make? What will be the echo of your leadership?